All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel here. This is going to be our Tim and I's kind of end of the year recap. We've caught a bunch of fish this year, been to a lot of different places, fished a lot of different waters, types of water, and this is our list compiling of stuff that we really vibed with this year, stuff we vibed with together that really worked for our customers at the store. We got some rods, reels, some other baits we're going to talk about here. So, Tim, I know you fish a little more dirtier water than I do most of the time.
Yep.
We both have similar fishing styles, but the way we execute them are very different.
Yep.
If you want to start off talking about kind of your top pick, if you could choose one out of all the baits here.
Well, I'll just go with the thing that surprised me. I've never been like a Senko guy, like pitching them and wacky. I can do it. I like it. But
too slow most of the time.
Too slow most of the time. But the Yamatanuki, the Yamatanuki came out this year, and you look at it, you think it is the dumbest thing you ever saw.
Right.
It's like a hot dog with a bowling pin.
Bowling pin, basically, right?
Basically.
For those of you who don't know, that Yamatanuki by Yamamoto is in that gravity bait category where it sinks much faster. It's much smaller profile. Came out of Japan and just has a ton of salt in it to help the sink rate.
So the couple things I know when I fished it is that, it, like you said, it has a faster fall rate than a normal Senko. So you don't wacky rig it, you just Texas rig it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I went round and round. I tried a EWG. I even tried a big haymaker hook on it.
Right.
But it's thick, it doesn't want to bend. And when it falls into an R bend on a regular EWD, like worm hook, it really is a great hook protector. So I went around, I settled on straight shank hook for it.
Yep.
It blows it up, but it's Yamamoto, and we are all used to ruining
Yeah.
Senkos.
You get two fish out of a Senko sometimes.
Turn it around, if you're lucky, you do.
Yep.
And then a couple hooks that I've liked a lot is the jungle flipping. It's no joke, right?
The owner jungle flipping. And that's the HD.
HD one. It is wicked.
Nasty.
Yeah,
sure.
it's got like a sickle hook on it. When you get them in it, they're hooked.
They're staying in the bottom of the hook.
They're very hooked.
Yep.
Very, very well hooked. And strong. You're not bending this hook.
Right.
It's not
heavy duty.
Heavy duty. And then the other one is that we'll talk about like a little bit later too, but is the BKK straight shank that they make, and I like it a lot too. They do a really good job with it. Their keeper's a little wire nub on it, and actually they epoxy it so it doesn't fray, like some of them I've had where they fray, or the keeper will slide up and down.
Yep.
We've all been down the road.
Yeah.
But it has impressed me a lot. I've caught a lot of fish, up to 7.5 pounds.
Yep.
On a Tanuki.
And that's just recently too, because they came out in August, like right after iCast-ish, or maybe right before.
They catch fish. It is probably one of the best skipping things.
Yep. I mean, it's just a solid. It's like a frog. It's just all compact.
It's compact, and I've told a lot of people and you can fish it up to 10 feet deep or deeper.
Yeah.
I think guys will even throw it at structure and drag it on the bottom.
When we fished Louisville, you were probably pitching it in 8 to 10 foot
easily
on a brush pile.
It'll go down there. The other thing is that it's one of the things I do not finesse this. This is like 22-pound Tatsu line. I put it on.
Yep.
And a straight shank hook.
How do you feel about it with braid?
I've not thrown it on braid yet, but I bet it would work on braid.
Okay, because I threw mine, so when I got mine and took your advice on the straight shank, I threw mine on braid.
And you probably...
And I can whack the crap out of them and just
rip
them out.
I liked the... I like it when I'm fishing docks. I don't need that... that braid is so short, you're really not fishing it very far, and that 22-pound... I mean, it's not. It stretches, but it's not that much. That in close, and it's just been really good for me.
Yeah, and when you're around docks and stuff.
If I was fishing some grass, I haven't done it there yet. But it's caught fish.
Fish catching.
Fish catcher. As I told you, I pitched a dock on Nocona back in October, and I had two back-to-back, a 7 and a 6.
Yep, some giants.
If they're in the mood, they'll eat it. Everything eats it. So
absolutely.
And it skips great. You can throw it under anything. The only other thing, I don't think we have it here, is the thing that I found for it. It's a thing called, it's like a big...
the Jethro.
The Jethro Snuggets.
Snuggets, yep.
It's a little, it's
like a cone that goes on top.
It's like a thing to protect the top. If you notice, it's kind of flush. And when you throw it in stuff, the thing wants to catch on things, right?
Yep.
And that snugget looks like a little sinker, but it's not. It's like just a big...
Right, it's like a bullet weight, except there's no weight.
Stop.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. And so... It helps a lot coming through things, but it really fishes well through like a brush pile,
like timber brush,
because you can just
move it
over
through.
things. I think actually I caught on a tournament. We caught a 6.5 with Josiah.
Yeah.
Helped us win a tournament for the club. But
yeah.
Awesome.
That's your number one?
That's the coolest thing this year that I learned, right? And then of course that's that, and then all of my big fish.
All your big fish this year.
All the big ones I caught.
Let's hold off on the big fish ones.
Big fish ones.
Hold off on the big fish ones
right.
for a second. I think my favorite lure this year is between a hard bait and a soft bait, which is hard because hard baits and soft baits for me are totally different categories. I have some of my top producing lures here. I enjoy the soft bait bite a ton, a little bit more than going all day cranking and still catching them. But I think my top lure this year, especially in the earlier half of the year when I think the fish were a lot more predictable. Right now, I think all around the country basically, water temps are stabilizing, not getting super cold. But the earlier half of the year was definitely robo worm for me. Just straight tail 6-inch, million fish on them. People's worm is a great color for me. We've got a little dingier water. It's brown and purple. Stands out in the dirty-ish water, about 1.5 foot viz. Perfect for that. Morning Dawn was also a great one. People's worm's just a great.
That's the one we used on Louisville, right?
Yeah. This is the one we used on Louisville. Caught a ton of fish. And then to go with that for the hook, spear point, size 3, GP finesse, the V-grip technology. Like when you think about the physics behind the hook, it just makes sense.
It's a really
the
sickle dip deep in it. It hooks them.
It hooks them. They stay hooked. My land ratio is like 100% on these. I'll throw these even on jerk baits and stuff. But that was my number one. I mean, I think the biggest fish.
I'm gonna guess it's either for your hard bait.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Z2 or
Z2 or the DT.
DT8.
Or the DT8, but I think the biggest fish I caught on this year, I didn't catch, but I had on. I let it get off.
That
was easily probably double-digit fish. We were pre-fishing for that Louisville tournament, and I had it right next. It came all the way up to the boat, opened its mouth, and it popped. Just let go because I didn't hook it or anything. I think the biggest one I got in the boat this year was probably a 9, just about a 9 on that. Not my biggest fish of the year, but biggest fish on this bait, probably 9 on that hook there. But yeah, I guess you don't have a hard bait, but then again, you really. I guess you can use this one for your hard bait.
I've been Well, if you've never thrown this before, this has been a great bait for me. Since it came out, it's a castable.
Like
little
small
bait,
finesse-sized crankbait.
I throw it on spinning myself, but you can throw it on a bait caster because it has an LBO system in it, which makes you able to cast it easily.
Super far,
yeah. And a lot of fish. It's great. It's been great on Texoma. It's been
Louisville producer.
You caught the crap out of them.
Piss out of them. Yeah.
Louisville. Pretty much anywhere I've thrown it, I've caught fish.
Yep. Caught him at like Lake of the Pines. Caught him at Whitney. Caught him at.
And the Z3, I've caught some on it.
Z3,
too, which is much deeper dive.
Yeah, these Z series crankbaits. Not a lot of people know about them. I know not most places don't actually carry them, so we're actually fortunate to have these in, and I'm fortunate that Tim got them in because I didn't know about these to begin with. And I throw Tim throws them on spinning gear. I like to throw them on casting gear, so I guess that's a good segue into the reel that I throw the Z2 on, which is the Corrado 70 MGL. This was on Tactical Basson's list of top reels. Anything with that MGL spool is going to cast extremely, extremely well, even with those lighter lures. Now this, isn't light. It's still I guess it is light. It's 1/4 ounce, but it throws easier.
Because of the weight transfer.
Yeah. So it throws extremely nice on this 10 to 12 pound line. I usually throw Seagar or Brazex 12 pounds.
Perfect. The
bigger line throws easier just because it's more mass going behind it most of the time. But I have thrown it on 10. I've even thrown the Z2 on 15. And overall for this year, the Z2 has put in a ton of work. The 70 MGL for me has put in a ton of work for cranking purposes, and the HG, which is the 7-speed.
Right.
And then I guess I can go into this one, which is my top producing hard bait.
Oh yeah.
The Z2 in Kasumi Ito, which is a shad pattern, and this DT8 in Green Gizzard Shad. If you've watched any of the videos that I talk about my top baits for the month or whatever, this is always in there.
It is.
And I can't tell you how many I've bought because I buy them, break them, buy more.
You fish with high school kids.
Yes, I captain the high school kids, and it's like, oh no, there goes 3 of my DT8s, and it's oh no, where'd they go? But I guess another shared hook that we really enjoy. You mainly throw that size.
I throw
or you throw the 6s.
6s and 8s.
6s and 8s.
I throw all of them.
We throw all of them.
Yep.
But another, I guess, company that is recent to the store is the BKK, and this is the Spear 71 EWGs.
I wanted to just try them out, and I saw the BKK hooks in their thing, our dealer. And what made me feel good about this recently was that, the Tactical Bassin guys put out their video for the year, and the BKK spear hook was one of their hooks that they like to change out. And I'm like, hey, and I did it before they did. So I was ahead of...
You were ahead of the curve.
With them, liking the hook. But the thing that I really like about it, it's extremely a wide gap, EWG.
Yes.
If you look at it, it's short shank, really short. And even the 8s are wide.
Yes.
And
they're strong.
And they're very strong for their size. Very strong. I'm very impressed with them. And then the other thing that... one of the things about the Z2 series, about the Megabass stuff, is their hooks are tiny.
Very
small. They're little tiny little gammies, I think they put on there. So you can put a 6 or an 8 on these, depending
on what you like. The 6s won't cross.
And they won't cross. And they are an awesome, awesome hook. And I put them on jerk baits now, on other crankbaits. They go all the way up to a 2-aught hook, treble, which is big.
Yeah, massive. And the gap on those is super.
So if you were to put them if you wanted to change out hooks on, say, like
6XD or something,
or a 10XD,
10XD,
you could put 10.
Easy.
Yeah,
I'll even throw, like I talked about it already, but I'll throw those little tiny 8s on the DT8. I like downsizing my hooks. It makes my crankbaits run a little bit easier. Has a little more wobble. And that's kind of like the killer combo for the hard baits, like the Z2, DT8 with the BKKs. I mean, we have other hooks. We've got the G Finesse, and we've got the Owners, the ST35s.
The switching hooks I like the ST35 Owner. That's like the T hook, the not equidistance points, and then I like the G Finesse medium heavy trebles, which are O'Shaughnessy hooks. Fairly short, and they're
very
great.
Strong.
But very strong.
Oh no, my other light went out.
Yeah. But very strong. So I'm very impressed with those hooks. Those hooks I like the best. So. Great hooks, can't complain.
Man, I can't believe that battery went out on that light.
No, that's okay.
Oh well. Let's see. I guess move on to your big fish bait. Big fish
for the year, for me, was I think I caught it on Nocona, I think. But big fish, a lot. Believe it or not, it was on a 3-inch Max Scent black and blue fleck jigger craw.
Oh, I got it right.
Yeah, it was a 3.
It was a 3.
The 3.
Yep.
On a little micro little wobble head. And, And I caught an 848.
You caught several big ones.
An 8, and then I've caught another 8 just recently on on another one this last month. I caught another 8. So I remember earlier this year. So crazy.
The creek bite was very interesting this year. Early in the year, the creek bite was okay. It was getting tougher and tougher. And I was normally throwing like a speed craw or like a rage craw, baby rage craws even. And then I stumbled upon the 3-inch chigger craw. And I think that Max Scent really helps, especially in, not just clear water, but also in our water as well, Scent is a big player. And I think the action of it is very unique in that the chigger craw arms don't totally undulate like this. They kind of flow together really well.
You flip it, but they flap when you reel it.
Yes, and it moves a lot of water.
It moves water, and it catches fish.
Yeah, it's almost like a good mix between like a big moving bait, like a chunk, and also a very finesse bait to where when it sits still, it doesn't have a lot of motion.
And the other thing about them, the 3, you have to have a pretty, even like a 1-aught or a pretty short.
Yeah, 1 or 2-aught.
A short 2, maybe 2 barely might fit.
Barely.
It's got to be a pretty small little hook. To run it right, because it just won't work. It's a kind of it's a short little body on it.
Yep.
But it catches them.
You like it on the wobble head.
flipped it, or a little finesse jigs, not a little finesse,
little
like
finesse
a
jig.
little
I usually just Texas rig mine,
or just
pegged it and flipped it, and it worked totally fine. And your other wobblehead bait, it's been out for a little bit.
It's been out for a while. People don't.
People know about it.
I saw it when I first saw it. I was like, yes, that's gonna work.
Usually like a northern Ned rig bait for smallmouth.
Yep, but it's a Super Trooper. It's like
a Super Trooper.
It's supposedly like a Ned bait, but it has little kicks like a little Rage Craw.
Little tiny.
And
kickers.
I don't know if they tell me. I think they might think it's a minnow. It might be a craw or whatever like that.
Right.
But it gets flat out bit. And the best color overall has been the Canada craw.
Canada craw.
Canada craw.
I think your second favorite is probably the rusty craw.
Rusty craw. I've caught them all. And then actually black powder.
Yeah, black powder.
And then you can take the black powder and you take like a JJ's blue and make it like a
just
black and blue.
Black and blue.
Black and blue, no problem. And again, a small hook, a 1/0. When we get them back in, the 1/0 haymaker is perfect for it.
Yep. And we also got the new
Pro
X hooks.
Pro X hooks work the same, the little up point design. It's a little heavier gauge wire, so you can actually, the 1/0, you can hit them. Yeah,
hit 'em. Even the haymakers that I played with, they were very, very strong anyway. But that Pro X is like, I wouldn't say it's a 2X hook. But I think it's a thicker.
It's a thicker wire.
It's like a 1.5X.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Yeah. I guess my second producing plastic that I've had a ton of success on. Just little trick worm from Zoom, Green Pumpkin Magic, Nico rigging, Texas rig. I like a lot of finesse tactics. Typically with a spinning rod most of the time. But yeah, these little trick worms, there's nothing to it. Just little 1/4 ounce Texas rig, shaky head, Nico rig, depending on what they're on. If they're on brush, I'm throwing it Texas rig. If they're on a dock or something, Nico rig's great. But I guess another big producer coming up for us are the swim baits.
Right. Should I talk about the one? Everybody knows.
Yeah, everyone knows.
The Kolshat came out this year, and of course they had a problem with some of them. I got one when they first came out, and it was fine for me.
Yep, Tim got lucky. I did not.
Sam was scrappy. So the first thing I noticed throwing it is that I'm like, it acted funny. You do have to put nail weights in it.
Yes, it needs some weight.
And it needs some weight. I put like probably 1/4 ounce.
Yeah.
2 1/8 ounces or whatever on it, and it made it keels it nice.
Yep.
I love the
hook keeper.
The clip on it, because you can, like we talked about, you can actually put the hook point in the bait if you want, or you can just traditional, or you could just leave it out and leave it clipped.
Flip it upside down. That way you have the bottom hook point, and you also have the tube kind of going out to the side.
You can flip it around whenever you want.
And you can also, what I did was I took the Owner 35.
Yep.
And since it's a straight T, when you put it on the belly of the bait, you've got full 3 hooks everywhere.
Yeah, you're gonna catch everything with that one. And then even the fusion hook that comes with it is a very good hook. It's strong,
super strong hook.
Yeah, and when they get this, they choke it.
Yep.
It is like.
In
the crushers, like.
I think it was like the week after they came out. You took them on the lake. Yeah. And you come back and you've got a picture of the Kolshat just down one's throat. I'm like, oh my gosh.
They ate it. Just throwing it over sticks, like burning it through like stick-ups. Yep. And they come out and go.
We did notice too that it runs easier than a mag draft.
It does.
Out of the box, you need some weight, but it runs a lot easier.
It doesn't blow out as much. At different speeds.
Right.
Where the mag draft wants
just a certain specific speed
to make it do its thing. This one you can.
User friendly.
Yeah.
That's what we can say. Yep. It's user friendly.
It is.
Early spring.
Oh, yeah.
Early spring when I was on them.
I've not thrown that yet. So
the burrito, it's a super strong bait. Comes in wide variety colors, sizes, sink rates.
Show them out.
I'll put that here.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's like almost a rubber.
Yeah.
It
looks so dumb, honestly, to me. Yeah. But it has such a great just shad profile. They just eat it. You can work it on the bottom. It's got a flat bottom like this, and that tail's just going to kind of move back and forth. Typically, I'm just throwing this at fish, and they eat it. It's such an easy meal most of the time. You can reel it super, super slow.
Can you see it good on your live?
And you can really see it because the head on it.
There's a lot of lead.
Has the weight just full straight up in the bottom front part of the bait here, so you really see it coming through. It also kicks so hard it moves a ton of water.
So you know when it stops, it's something like a spinnerbait bite.
Yes,
it
it's
stops
just
thumping.
wonk. They get it.
You know immediately that.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a 14 and a half, 15 incher have this just fully down his throat. And I was like, holy crap. I did not know they could do that. But on the topic of swim baits,
we can go.
Brand new swim bait to the shop.
Phase
The
number 2.
Phase 2.
Yeah, here we go.
Zimmer Instigator. This is the 8-inch. We have the 6-inch.
Oh.
This is the Ninja color. This is a
Oh, yeah.
Our most popular color for sure. Just a gizzard shad. But we have sold so many of these.
It's one of the best sellers in the shop, and they sell all over the country. So all over, like a lot in Tennessee.
Yeah, Alabama, Tennessee,
even up north.
even East Coast,
West Coast too.
Yep, West
everywhere.
Coast, the California guys. They just work really well. You know, they've got a little more movement on them than most of the glide baits out there. You know, you still get a traditional wide glide, and you can get a little bit of a chopping action on it.
Has the twisting, swiveling for your hooks, hook hangers, so it helps you when you're trying to fight them. They're not going to
twist it out.
Twist it out of their mouth, correct?
Yep.
Right.
The tails are actually, or the tail sections are actually upgraded to a little bit better material, a little more pliable, just a little bit.
And then the raise.
Yes.
That's the big difference. Is the raised.
Absolutely. The head's also a lot smaller on it this way here. And I will say, we do have Gen 1s still in stock, and they are a little bit cheaper than these. These have 3D scales on them, so it kind of diverts the light a little bit more. But just had to shout these out. The owner of Zimmer loves coming in the shop here, dropping off the baits instead of just mailing them. We really enjoy that. All of our reps that come in, we enjoy all of them when they come in. And, you know, have a good time, talk about fishing, talk about whatever's going on.
And I'll have to say, I'm not a big swim bait guy at all, but for the money.
This is 135.
Yeah.
I think.
But full resin, handmade bait, painted,
hand painted,
everything. I mean, I don't know that there's a lot of handmade stuff out there like that, and they're as good as a lot of some people charging a lot more.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool eye. The cool thing is the eyes.
Full 3D eyes.
3D eye. I mean, just like they took it off a fish and stuck it on there.
Yep.
But it's a cool bait.
Yeah, I've got 2 more baits here. These are mainly like my forward-facing baits.
Yes.
I know you don't utilize it to where you're targeting fish a lot.
No.
But you use more live scope stuff to locate life.
I'm looking at
which is
like looking at structure. Is there fish there? Are they swimming around? Are they around? Are they stuff? And I catch them occasionally doing it, but I'm not really trying to like
pinpoint them and
stuff like that.
I like to do
Whenever I do that, I end up giving myself a headache because
it pisses me. Chasing them around.
Well, I can't. I'm trying. Is that my lure? Is that my lure? Is that my lure? Not my lure. I can't. Everybody's been down the road.
Yep. We've all been there, but one of our best sellers for forward-facing stuff, of course, the 6-inch Divine Swim Jig. The braid one's also in stock. They sell out really fast when they're in, so if you need them, we have a couple here and there. 6-inch has been hard to work with. As we're filming this, the Hangover swim bait is going out pretty soon, so forward-facing stuff, 6-inch has definitely got the market on that.
Yes, they do.
And another one, of course, an A-rig, the Picasso lures. It's a little bit pricey. Very high quality.
Very good hog.
Very good quality.
And I think their line tie twists.
Yes.
It's not. It's
on the head of it, it twists. Another one that we don't have in stock is the Shane Bates Mini Blades of Glory. We just ordered. Well, I guess I just ordered those to get more in. So if you're wondering about those have been super successful for forward facing. Not just looking at them, but just throwing and reeling. And I will say, this has been a year of Mega Bass.
Yeah.
So we've got a whole bunch of Respect Series colors still in stock if you want to pick them up. A lot of them are Pop X's, Pop Maxes, a few 110s, and like the Mega Bass Shrimp. But you can check them all out online, guys. You know where to go.
Kind of like this shrimp. Kind of like if you're like a Mega Bass geek like me. If you remember, they used to make a color called Spawn Killer in a 110.
Yep.
In a crawfish pattern, it would get bit.
Destroyed.
Right? And it's just different, and it's a jerk bait, and if it makes them get a response to the action.
Right.
It could help catching fish.
Plus the resale value on all these. We even have some Vibration X's. Resale on these, I mean, you're going to get 10, 15 bucks more. Maybe, I mean, sometimes more than that.
They're not, there's like, so these, they're not making these for the States for
Right.
probably, I don't know.
They're not going to make them, right?
Years?
Yeah, it's like 4 years.
More?
They come in, and then they go away. So
Yeah.
resale on those is super awesome. Let's see. We've got 2 more shared things here. Let's go into some of the reels.
Okay.
Because I know the reels.
You did
I've
yours.
talked about my bait caster already.
I'll do mine.
Talk about your bait caster there.
So along the line with the Tanuki, right? And I like to fish around docks a lot. And if, you know, this is the first lures I ever bought, and I've loved one of the funnest reels. It's that Pro SP. It's the shallow spool reel, right? By Lose. I like the high speed one. You don't need to put so much line on it.
I don't even know why they make a 7-speed
I don't
and
know.
like a shallow spool.
So it's got a little slot in the spool and a little hole that you can hide your knot in. And I fished the Tanuki with this. I love this thing because
22 pound line.
22 or 18, just pretty heavy stuff, and you can skip it underneath. It's just awesome.
And it's got more line capacity than
I've
you would
wrenched
think.
things out of it. It's got a great drag. I think there's a
22,
20 pound
24.
drag on it, and it's been a great reel, awesome reel for what you get for the money. I think it's a $200 reel.
Yeah, $200 reel.
And,
super good deal.
It's an awesome reel. So I'm very, very impressed too.
It's very smooth.
Very smooth, and even this last iCast, they came out with another version, not
the
SP,
Custom Light SS.
the Custom Light shallow spool, which still has a lot of drag.
Right.
But you can
it's
actually
just
throw
much lighter.
a lighter reel, and you can actually throw BFS stuff on it.
Yep.
If you want.
And I caught a massive catfish on it.
And yes, you did. And that's a great reel too. But this thing really impressed me. For what I like flipping docks. If you're like a shallow water flipper pitcher dock fisherman, this one is an awesome reel for that. I don't know if you get a better one for it.
Absolutely.
That one right there. That would be
now the rod. I've got your rods behind you. The rod that Tim likes to throw with this reel specifically is back to Shimano land.
Back to Shimano, and it is the
it's the X Pride.
X Pride. If you've been around, you know what an X Pride is. It's probably one of the best reviewed rods you'll see.
Yep.
It is kind of like I call it the happy place. It's not $300. It's about $270. I think.
$280-ish. Yep.
Something like that. It went up this year because
Everything went up.
But for the month, it feels like you're buying like a $500 rod.
Yeah. It's got the carbon monocle in the back, so you get the sensitivity in your forearm when you get hit. Yeah.
Cork on the handle, monocoque on the thing. And the cool thing that I've noticed that I like about one of the things I like about the monocoque design, if you ever fish in somebody else's boat and you have it in their side and they have their little slot form, the monocoque doesn't have a little ridge on it, so when you put it in there, it doesn't catch when you pull stuff out.
And it has a nice spot for the hook keeper.
I like where the hook keeper is. It's back here, it's not up here, so it's not going to catch anything. But this has been an awesome rod, and I think I have more of these than anything. I have the 7.3 heavy, extra heavy is like my frog rod. If you've never thrown it, you'll never go. Again, I think the Tactical Basket, that's their frog rod.
Yep, that's their frog rod.
7.3 heavy
this one
and the
here,
heavy.
Yep, this is the 7.2 heavy, I think.
7.2 heavy. So this is what I do docks. That's what I do docks with. Yep, mostly. And
it's just short enough to kind of get a nice full skip in there. You're also
I'm
really tall.
Yes.
So
I can get away with it.
I usually do like a 7.1, but 7.2, yeah, absolutely.
It's been an awesome rod. I cannot complain.
The amount of these that go out the door is actually astounding. How many people will come in for like $150 rod-ish, and they leave with an X Pride because
you put this in your hand, you'll be blown away if you've never touched one.
Absolutely, and we highly recommend anyone. Doesn't have to be our store, but if you can go to a store that allows you to take a reel, balance it on a rod, make your combo, or bring your reel in that you want on a rod and feel it. That is the way to do it because
we even have a pond you can cast in.
Yeah, we even have a pond you can cast in. We'll spool it up. We don't care. We want to make sure that you get the best bang for your buck, get the best product that you need, and not overload your tackle box when you're going around.
I just think this line is probably like almost high end, but really underneath. It's medium high, I guess.
So it's at that special point because Shimano, what they do with all their technologies, it goes down the list. So it's got the Spiral X on it. It's got all the technology from like your highest end rods.
Yeah.
And it kind of just works its way down into the lineup here. So
Awesome rod.
I guess I'll talk about my bait caster.
Yeah.
This is to Daiwa Land.
Oh yeah.
We're kind of backwards. It's kind of funny. We're kind of backwards on our rods and reels. But this here, you can only buy in physical tackle shops.
Yep.
Select tackle shops in certain regions. So this is the Kage line. It's got the same blank as the Tutula Elites.
Correct.
It's matte black all the way through, sanded blank, full cork handles,
Correct.
and it comes in a wide range of different, sizes and powers and all that. But this one here is the all-around,
Yep.
7'3",
Yep.
medium heavy fast action. This is my all-round. This is my favorite all-round. 7'3" to 7'4", medium heavy fast action. It's long enough to throw crankbaits, it's long enough to throw chatterbaits, strong enough to throw Texas rigs, shaky heads, just about anything you want.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It's got a great length, in my opinion, for the handle here. You're not butted up super far against your chest. You have comfortable amount of room to reel. This is probably my favorite one out of the lineup. We have spinning and casting models. So I think we're gonna put like a banner online, because right now we don't have anything online to promote them. You can't order them online, but if you call in, we can set you up a custom little invoice.
And they're very well.
for
They're like about right under $200.
$200.
$200. $189.
Yeah, 189, 179 for the
depends on what it
spinning, I
is.
think.
And I have a spinning all around.
You have the spinning all around.
And awesome.
Yep.
Very sensitive for $200. That's one of the better rods I think in the store.
Yeah, I have this one, the frog rod and casting.
Yep, I have the frog.
The 7.4 heavy.
Yep.
And then I also have the drop shot, which I believe is a 611.
Yeah.
I think it's a little shorter.
Yeah.
And I love them all. Super high quality blank. I mean, just like the Elite rods.
Yep.
Only get them at your tackle shops near you. They might not even have them. So if you want to order a Kage, reach out to us. We can set you up. We can talk through techniques with you and all that.
They're
and they
really
make
good.
just a wide range of stuff, like heavy jigs,
all around. That one,
shaky head.
That one is the light Texas jig one. They have that one.
Yep.
They have the frog rod. They're very specific of what you can use it for. So all around jig rod. So okay, bait pop.
Well, talk about the bait pop.
Well, you use it more than I do.
I do use it a little more. So bait pop is new. We got this ordered this after iCast in July.
Mm-hmm.
Took a little bit to get it in just because we were so swamped with other stuff. But we finally got it in. And I did some more testing with it. I tried it for crappie. I couldn't tell that much of a difference, especially when you have your live scope dialed in so much, everything just kind of pops anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I put the bait pop on my glide baits, and I put it on my burritos. Throwing it 120 feet out there, you can see it so much easier.
Oh wow.
So I finally got it to where like I used it in like an application where it's like actually viable for live scope. Initially, I told people it didn't help that much. That was pretty wrong, because I do notice a big difference, especially on bigger baits when you cover more surface area with it. It definitely makes a big difference. So the bait pop to me definitely helps in the forward-facing aspect, but more importantly, it adds scent.
Yep.
It adds the shad scales that flake off, and it actually stays on your bait.
Correct. That's the best thing I would say about, to me, is that you can put this in your pocket, even in the summertime when we had it.
Yep.
It does not get oily.
Right.
Like if you've ever
It doesn't break down.
If you've ever had smelly jelly before, it turns into like
mush,
oil. Like oil, right?
Yep.
You have to put it in a cooler to use it.
Yeah.
This stuff here, it does not. It stays gooey and sticky,
sticky,
even when it's hot.
Yep.
So that's the best thing about it.
Yeah, and even if all the shad scales come off, even if all the glitter comes off, it still smells. Like it's whatever they use
I put it in
there.
my pocket, which keeps it warm, and it stays gooey.
I've got 3 sitting on the deck of my boat all summer, and I just rotate them. Just
it wasn't oily ever. It always went on. It's still kind of pasty.
Yep.
Doesn't like you open up.
And most of them smell really good.
Yeah, not bad.
There's some garlic, some anise, some smell like actual bait fish and crawfish.
Yeah.
But we've got the pro packs. We also sell individual ones. Yep. Bait pop, I've been super impressed with this year. It's caught a lot of fish for me. John really likes it. He's on that train now.
Oh, good.
Overall, it's a wonderful product. Do you want to go into our last shared one? Or do you want to go into spinning real quick?
Well, we can go with that one, then we go from this to the mine.
All right, you use that one first.
Okay, so this came out an iCast. It took a long time to get here, though.
Took a long time.
Like after, like, I forget when it
4 or 5 months.
at least. But this has been very, very good line. I've been using it for jerkbait fishing, 10-pound, and cranking with it.
Leader.
Leader, 10. Yeah, it's been awesome. It's on a level wound, like any other stuff.
Yep.
Very strong, very comparable to Tatsu in diameter.
Tatsu and Embrace X.
In their diameter, right? So,
but pricing, it's very affordable.
It's very affordable. 20. What is it?
26
bucks.
Yeah, 26 bucks.
It's a little cheaper than some of this stuff. So
yeah.
Very, very good too. I guess the other line that we wish we had we could show right now.
The Gookin.
Would be the Gookin Spro line.
That would be our best seller of the year for line.
Yeah, amazingly priced for the money. Very strong.
Yep.
Everything that everybody said about it on the YouTube content we saw from the Bass Fishing Headquarters guy. I used it, loved it, and most people that I've read about it have liked it.
They all love it as well.
And it's on backstock for
forever.
So I don't know when we're ever going to get it. But this has been a great line for the money.
Yep.
Really good.
Our rep Tanner, I'll give him a shout out here. He got us hooked up with, I got a 12, you got a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I used my 12 for cranking the DTs and the Z2s.
Mm-hmm.
Works wonderful. I think first time I had it out, I got snagged. And when I was pulling my crankbait out of the rock, I was like, oh man, if this was my normal line, it should have broken.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it didn't break. It pulled everything out. My bill was just destroyed. And it actually got it out. And then I bought a spool of 10, and I've been using it for my jerk baits and stuff. It is super, super strong. I think the knot strength, so what they did with it is it has the nano armor, where it's microscopically ridged, so that way it cinches down on itself a lot easier, so your knot strength is a lot higher, and it protects against abrasion and all that.
The last 8 I caught.
Oh.
So, yeah.
So I caught a bunch on the 10, caught a bunch, well actually Bennett blew my 12 up, so that's why I had to buy the 10. So my high schooler messed up my spool of 12, so I went with 10, and it is still super, super strong.
Yep.
Let's get into the spinning.
Mm-hmm. Me first?
You first?
Okay, well this is nice. This is kind of some cheese, I call it some high cheese. This is the Shimano Twin
Power XD, right?
No,
it's not the XD, just the regular Twin
Regular
Power.
Twin Power, right? I call this almost a Stella.
Almost a Stella.
It's like
almost
450, I want to say.
450-ish, 449, I think.
Something like that. But it is incredible reel. The tolerance is in it. There's no spool wobble at all.
Right. The drag is super crispy.
Super crisp. I mean, if you want a really, really nice thing, you don't want to spend for a Stella. This is, I can't recommend this anymore. It's
right.
Like, it's hard to go back the other way now.
Yeah.
Because they're so nice.
You feel like a Stratic, and you're like, not quite.
Not the same anymore.
It's also still very light. You know, it's a very, I think it's kind of like a Bantam, where it's bulkier, but it feels really, really good in the hands.
Balances everything out nice.
Yep.
Got a good, I like the flat handle too.
Yeah, on the 3000s.
Super smooth. The drag is just micro drags on it.
Tick, tick, tick,
tick, tick, tick. And some people don't realize it has as much drag as any
bait caster
of that loose as 20
something
pound drag on it. So you can fight big fish. You can lock it down if you need to, or back it off.
Yep. When
you're fighting small inclined line. And I throw a lot of like little cranks, and I throw my little wobble head on it too.
Yeah, you throw 20 pound braid, right?
With the
15.
I've gone down to 15, and then 10 of the Mastiff or 10
Gookin or Tatsu
or something that I have in there.
Yep. Some high end fluorocarbon.
Really good line.
Yep.
And then like 2 Tims of.
Yep. 2 Tims a liter, so about 14 foot.
13, yeah.
My spinning reel that I've been impressed with is more on the budget side. Really on the budget side.
Yeah.
This is a lot newer. This is the Exceller LT, and this is $100.
Yeah.
Now, Daiwa, I really enjoy Daiwa most of the time, especially for bait casters. The spinning, I was impressed with the Tatula MQ-LT.
Yep.
For the price, I wasn't super impressed with it, right? So the Tatula MQ-LT, I think, is like a $260, $280-ish reel.
Mm-hmm.
The drag felt like it should have been a $280 reel.
Yeah.
But the Exceller here is $100. It is extremely smooth. I wish I grabbed the one off the rack with the handle, but it is extremely smooth. It uses the same look as kind of like an Exist, where it's got the really, really cool spool right here, where everything looks all streamlined. It looks a lot newer than, I guess, what the price would make it look like.
And you can still back reel it too.
And you can still back reel it if you want. You
like.
can have the little lever there.
Yeah.
It is extremely smooth. Extremely smooth, and the drag system on it is very similar to some of your mid-priced Shimano's. It's very different. The drag that I prefer is very crispy. A lot of the newer Daiwa drags are almost tink, 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 tink. This is like a click.
Yeah, I have the Tatula, the older Tatula spinnings.
Yep.
And they're great. They got really good drag. Still using them. I throw jerkbait with them still, and they've been awesome. So.
Yep. So this.
And that's a step up from that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the same thing with the X Pride rod. This has all the cool Daiwa technology gone down into it to where now this is like the new thing because. It's just got all the cool stuff in it. I mean, I talk about all of it if I want. Air drive design, tough digit gear. Everything on it is super solid. Yep. I highly enjoy it. And the rod that I probably wouldn't pair this one up with, but the rod that I really enjoy for spinning this year.
This is the height now.
Is the cheese.
This is it.
This is it. So this is
the pinnacle of bass geekdom.
Right. So this is the NRX, the G Loomis NRX Plus 902 for my drop shots. Nikos. It's a 7'6", medium light. Very, very good tip. It's got the recoil guides going down.
The top, top 6 of them.
Yeah, I think top 6 or 7.
3,
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, plus 6.
So 6 recoil guides. Super sensitive. And I think it's that perfect happy place for like a drop shot or like a Ned rig, where it's got enough backbone to where you can really set the hook on some of those bigger fish to drive the hook. But it's also got the very, very good tip section in it to where you can easily fight the fish. And overall, just amazing rod. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. Your rod there, behind you, that you really enjoy,
this right
very, very similar. A little bit more backbone. And on the opposite side of...
This is called the, this is the another... it's actually cheaper than the NRX.
It is cheaper than NRX.
NRX, I want to say it's like, it's about $100 cheaper than an NRX. It's $550.
Yep.
But it is the Berkeley Steez the one.
Daiwa Steez.
Daiwa Steez. I'm sorry, not Berkeley.
Not
Daiwa Steez. That wouldn't be that good. Daiwa Steez and the Steez they do some like almost like a mega bash rating. It's a medium light. They have medium heavy stuff. They have medium. Have just different ratings.
A little more technical
stuff. Yep. It has the AGS guides on it, so it's super light. This is a 7.6, and actually I throw the little micro wobble on this a lot now. I just like the long rod for picking up.
When and you can bomb it out
and
there.
you can throw it 5. You've seen me throw it. Far.
It's like a gun crack.
It has it's got a pretty soft tip.
Very moderate tip to about mid rod.
But you get backbone all the way down here, which is what I like.
And it still flexes all the way down,
and
which I really enjoy.
And they call it the one, and I think it's a great name for it.
Yep.
You can throw a drop shot, a shaky head. I throw little wobbles on it. You can drop.
Crank with it.
I've thrown little teeny Z2s with it. And it does. It's about everything I could think of. I could do in a certain size that I want to do. I can do with this rod. It's a little long. It's more open water stuff. It's kind of hard to flick it around things, but for anything you're casting with or throwing it, it's awesome.
So what I found with like rods in this nature, is that similar to like a 903-ish in the NRX Plus and like the one there, where it's got a little bit more backbone than the 902. For dock skipping, especially if you're target dock skipping from a farther distance away, that 7'6" action and power really allow you to get like a full, just on the water, just like perfect skip across through that. Nico rigging with, something like the 902 or the one, Nico rigging like that, chucking a drop shot 5 miles, throwing a crankbait like an IXI, Z2, which I guess we probably should have included an IXI in here.
Yeah, but you caught
some magnums.
an IXI. Well, I'll go. It's not far. Let me go.
Yeah, it's not far.
Let me go grab an IXI.
But the IXI, guys, is another Megabass product. It is a very finessey crankbait. It's almost a slow float. Depending on what hooks and line you have on it, it can be a suspending crankbait. But it's really, really, really finesse. What's great about it, too, is it has an LBO system in it. Comes in 2 different types. It comes in a TX, which dives deeper, and a Type 3, which goes down 2.3 meters.
We have it.
Mainly Type 3s.
I tell people it's like a
Tin
Paula or Paula
Shad
Shad Wrap 5 or 6 that you can actually cast in the wind.
Yep.
And they actually, if the hooks again are very small, and I found that if I put like a number 6 medium heavy G finesse on these, it'll actually suspend.
Yep.
And if you coming up here when it gets a little colder for us through January, February, you can actually I call it hum it. You can throw it out, and you can reel it down and just.
Yep.
And it'll almost suspend for you. So it's a little bit like a jerkbait thing, but you can actually crank it.
Right.
Or just really slow. Sometimes they want that. They don't want it jerking. They just want it moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. And it has been an awesome little bait.
Now you've got to use the right gear. Like
it's got to be
902, the 1, 10 to maybe 15, 10 pound braid.
10
or
even 8.
Or even 8.
Braid fine, but if you do braid
but for fluoro, you got to
take
have like 8 or 10,
at least,
like max.
8's probably better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're not used to fighting fish, I don't recommend them for you to start out with these. You know, start with something more like a Shad Wrap, right? You know,
you got a really big one on Ray Hubbard.
Ray Hubbard, yep. I had one absolutely swallow the IXI, and it was probably like a 6.5, 7 pounder. And I've caught numerous other fish on like Louisville and Ray Robb on the dam and stuff like that. So
cool bait.
Yeah.
And I got a couple. This is called.
That's one of my favorite colors.
A Bayou Shad. Almost looks like a little thread from very reflective. This is just like a cool little shad pattern. And they have they have Spawn Killer in it too.
Yep, Spawn Killer. They've got another one that's almost Kasumi. I think they do have Kasumi Ito. We don't have it in right now.
They have Kasumi Ito in it. Yep.
Yep. But I think that's going to conclude our little list here. We've got a bunch of products here. I can't list them all, guys. But if you want to just hop over to the website, I'm going to link some of the biggest ones that we have here, like the reels, the rods, like Tim's top bait, you know, like the Tanuki, the Zimmer baits and stuff like that. I'll try to link as much as I can. It's a lot of work. But Tim, thanks for hopping off here, doing this little video with us, and I hope you all enjoy it. If you did, leave a like on it. Maybe you made it through. If you didn't, that's fine. You're not watching anyway. So, guys, you know, if I don't do another video, which I probably should, before the new year, guys, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for making this year such a special time. You know, we've seen a ton of growth in the store here. We're pumping out orders every single day, which is super awesome. Keeps Tim on his feet, keeps us ordering a ton. And we love to see it. And we're probably going to do a little giveaway here for some of the stuff. We'll figure it out. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow our social media, and we'll see you next time. Lake Per Tackle. See you guys.